Hello BookTube, this is Zina and beating around the books. I am doing a tag today. It's the, it's an Ex-Lurker tag. It was originally created by Kate Luna and I was kindly tagged by Gina Stanier. So let's just get into it. Number one, what had been stopping you from leaving comments or starting a BookTube channel? So I started watching BookTube probably 2018, not 100% sure. And I think in the beginning, most of the channels I found were really big. So I'm assuming that I just didn't really think there was any point in me leaving any comment because they have far too many to even interact in any way. But I think I very quickly found smaller ones and then also did relatively quickly begin to comment because I could see that there was a lot of interaction going on speaking about books. Yeah, and then starting a channel, that took much longer, even though I thought in the first year already I was really interested in starting one, but most of it I think was just nerves. I was just, a bit self-conscious, which I still am, and feeling like, what would I even have to say? But yeah, I guess, I've taken the plunge now, in large part thanks to the encouragement of a few very friendly booktubers who've been at this for a longer time already. Yeah, and I'm really glad I have, because I've already met so many nice people and I've had a very warm welcome. So I can only recommend it if you're thinking about it. Number two, you've already left a bunch of comments under BookTubers videos. Do you remember the very first comment you've left? Did you get any reply? I can't say I remember the very first one, but I think one of the first ones will have been under the Book Chemist's video, and then maybe also under Steve Donahue's, and I'm glad to report that I got answers on both of them, which I didn't really expect to get immediately, but yeah, it was really nice. Number three, pick a book which you've read because of a booktuber's review. It has to stand out, be one you either loved or hated with a passion. So I feel a bit silly always mentioning the same stuff, but I guess the reason why is because it stuck with me so much, and it's Milkman by Anna Burns. I think I read this now over 2 years ago, if I remember correctly, and it's still, it's still in my mind. It was just amazing. It was a bit, of a challenging read because of the way it's written, but I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, and I don't think I would have found it otherwise. I know it was a prize win and all that, but I didn't follow any prizes, so I don't think I would have found it. Number four, tell us about a book you're currently reading. Is it any good? Could you read a passage from it which you loved or found ridiculous? Unfortunately, I can't, because the book I'm currently reading is a book for the BookTube prize, and we're not supposed to discuss them until the rating has gone out, which will be at the end of May. So I won't be discussing that, although I wish I could. So instead, I've decided, because I've just talked about this in another video I filmed, which isn't up yet, or maybe it will be when this goes up, I'm not sure. It was an essay, the first essay in Disability Visibility, which is a collection of essays written by disabled people about their experiences, and the first one is by, let me check the exact name, by Harriet McBride Johnson, and there she discusses her experience of having like a debate, an ongoing debate with Peter Singer, which is quite feel like I said this the last time, but it's quite harrowing. And so, I don't know, do you know, Peter Singer has incredibly, like, in my view, crass ideas about what should be allowed with regards to abortion and infanticide, which is really, really difficult topic, obviously, but specifically it's difficult in this context because Harriet McBride Johnson has, you know, one such disability that in his worldview would, you know, be better, how do you say this? Would be better for her to not exist or something like that. I'm terrible at this. So she has this discussion with him, and then they end up having an email exchange back and forth where they're discussing each other's points of views. And this is, yeah, one of the passages that stood out. So here we go. Singer seems curious to learn how someone who is as good an atheist as he is could disagree with his entirely reasonable views. At the same time, I'm trying to plumb his theories. What has him so convinced it would be best to allow parents to kill babies with severe disabilities and not other kinds of babies, if no infant is a person with the right to life? I learn it's partly that both biological and adoptive parents prefer healthy babies. But I have trouble with basing life and death decisions on market considerations when the market is structured by prejudice. I offer a hypothetical comparison. What about mixed-race babies, especially when the combination is entirely non-white, who I believe are just about as unadoptable as babies with disabilities? Wouldn't a law allowing the killing of these undervalued babies validate race prejudice? Singer agrees there is a problem. It would be horrible, he says, to see mixed-race babies being killed because they can't be adopted, whereas white ones could be. What's the difference? Preferences based on race are unreasonable. Preferences based on ability are not. Why? To Singer, it's pretty simple. Disability makes a person worse off. Are we worse off? I don't think so. Not in any meaningful sense. There are too many variables. For those of us with congenital conditions, disability shapes all we are. Those disabled later in life adapt. We take constraints that no one would choose and build rich and satisfying lives within them. We enjoy pleasures other people enjoy and pleasures peculiarly our own. We have something the world needs. So I thought that is a pretty good passage to highlight. So if any of you have not picked up this, maybe have a look. Okay, and the last question is, do you keep a reading journal? I've tried recently, maybe a few months ago, but I'm not very good with keeping up with it. Sometimes I have these phases where I'm really into it, and then other times I leave it for so many books that at some point then I feel like I'm not even, I don't even have enough memory now to like go back and jot down enough to make it worth my time. I do use Goodreads to sort of just track my reading, and I also have this overly detailed spreadsheet which I do update from time to time. But yeah, I think I might have to try and get into the journal thing a bit more. Because whenever I see somebody else with a reading journal, especially if it's been kept for a long, long time, I think it looks like such a great treasure to be able to go back and yeah, and just see what you've read like 5 years ago and what you thought about it. So yeah, maybe I'll take this as a cue to try and be more consistent with it. So that's the last question. So the only thing left is to tag people, and as Gina Stanya did, I will tag a few people who also have relatively small channels, one of which is very, very new, and that is David Wiley. Then Laura from The Reading Mushroom, and also Katja Weiner. I think her channel is now called Katja Read, Write, Create. So
And of course, if you would like to do this tag or answer the questions in the comments, if you don't have a channel, please feel free to do so. And thank you so much for watching. Sorry, that was the cat. I'm saying the dog running through. And now she's drinking very noisily. Anyway, have a lovely day. Bye bye. Are you coming here? Yeah. Oh, hello. That's weird, huh? You're a sweetheart. Oh. Oh. Mm. Mm. Oh, that's so nice. Oh. Mm. Sweetheart.